Hello, this is Space Sergeant 101 again with Phantasy Star Online 2, and as you've seen from my last video, the fifth in a six-part series, actually the sixth in a five-part series, because of how I started it. I pretty much answered all my questions, resolved the majority of my problems with trying to find out how to play this game. So this is just an epilogue video, and it's actually just going to be politics. So if politics isn't going to interest you, skip this entirely. It's not really going to have any new PSO2 information on it. Just a political thing. It's a response to a video Dan Harmon made with one of his Harmontown videos. It's called Dan's Nazi Monologue. That particular video, I've got a link to it in my description, and it's sort of a response to that video. So I'd recommend, if anything, go watch that first. If anything, he's Dan Harmon. He's a lot funnier, more entertaining than I am. A lot more charismatic, even as awkward as he is, than I am. So go watch that instead, or at the very least before watching the rest of this video here, since I'm responding to his sort of take on sort of fascism in current government. So, getting right onto that, Dan Harmon makes some good points in his video, but his overall message is a little off. I assume this video was recent, with his mentioning of Bernie as an issue, but this video is from August of 2017. I don't know why he'd be having issues with Bernie then. After all, Hillary clearly wasn't up to the task, and is clearly unlikable. If anything, the common sentiment at that time ought to have been slap to the forehead, and realization that if Bernie had been nominated instead of Hillary, we'd most likely have President Sanders right now instead of President Trump. That alone really muddles the points he's trying to make. So it kind of makes the most sense to treat this like a recent video about the 2020 election and go from there. Like I said, he's made some good points, but he misses the overall mark. Trump isn't the cancer. Trump is just a symptom. You can't just treat the symptoms, brush off your hands, and declare your job done, because then you die of cancer. On a side note, has Joe Biden ever said he's not a Nazi? All he's got to do is say he's not a Nazi, say he's for democracy, and not facetiously ask for my vote. Is he for democracy? He's a neoliberal. That's just a Republican and Democrat clothing. At worst, that's just fascism light. I'm not convinced he's even the Democratic Party choice for a candidate. Nothing's stopping Republicans from voting in the primaries. Biden seems more like the Republican choice for a Democratic candidate. The win-win scenario. Plenty of people on the right are embarrassed by Trump. This way, they either get the right-wing president who lets them eat candy for every meal and strokes the worst impulses of their ego, or they get the responsible right-wing president who scolds bad behavior and who acts in a mature manner while merely paying lip service to any left-wing concerns, and at best gives billionaires a brand new toy for everyone he takes away. To the heart of that, Biden seems to be following the Hillary playbook of just not trying. Why am I going to vote for a candidate who isn't even trying? Hobbes' choice isn't a choice. Back to the main point, Dan's call for action seems less like a call for action and more like a call to bury your head in the sand and let fascism win. American democracy is facing some serious problems, and once again, Trump is just a symptom of these problems. It resulted from people leveraging these problems as tools to manipulate the American democracy. I think the biggest threats to American democracy can be summed in two very foundational problems. The first is its lack of representation. When this country was founded, we had something like one representative for every 40,000 people. Now we have something like one representative for every 575,000 people. The more dilute the democracy gets, the more dilute democracy gets. And this has since been hard-coded into law. Additional representation can't be added to the federal government through the laws that were passed. And the population is just going to keep growing. We need to go back to a ratio of one representative for every 40,000 people. Actually, no. We need to go further. We have both the luxury and responsibility to be more democratic than our ancestors. There are a bunch of similar slogans. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance is the price of liberty, democracy is responsibility. This is what all those slogans and important phrases are talking about. For it to survive, we have to protect democracy, not just let it slip away. And we have. We've let democracy slip from 1/40,000th to 1/575,000th. Those are hard numbers, and they need need to be moving in the other direction. The other big threat to our democracy is that we have the worst voting method there is. First past the post voting, the kind of voting we use, is the least representative, least democratic voting system out there. It's so bad and so out of date that something like 3 out of 4 democracies don't even use it. I got that from Wikipedia. Those that do usually only do it out of inertia. Not only is that voting method bad, but what we do with it is bad, not very democratic. Other democracies use some sort of proportional representation, where if 10% of the votes go towards a party or stance, then 10% of the reputation is for that party. Here, the winner takes all, almost like a lottery, and not very democratic. 49% of the voters could lean one way, but 100% of the government is going to lean the other way because winner takes all. That's not democracy. That's feudalism? Maybe? This isn't the 1700s anymore. This isn't the 1800s. As a tool of democracy, it was weakened and blunted long ago. We need to catch up and actually do democracy instead of performing little plays of democracy. And so I'll cast an approval vote for Joe Biden. I'll put him second in an instant runoff ballot. I'll score him 9 out of 10 in a score vote. Is Biden asking me for any of these? I have to go back to Dan Harmon here and ask, has Joe Biden said he's not a Nazi? Has he said he's even for democracy? I've got to vote for a candidate that at least appears to meet those extremely low-hanging qualifications. You know what? Bernie may not have come out and declared he's not a Nazi either, but I'm pretty sure he's not the backdoor Hobbes choice candidate for more level-headed fascists either. I can't say that about Biden. So in the end, if someone's really championing these 2 points, they'll get my vote. Failing that, I'll vote for literally any third party that's likely to get a 5% of the vote. And if that's not likely, I can cast a vote for Bernie, and at least be assured I am voting for a liberal candidate who liberals actually want. And so that was my, I guess, political rant I had made up here. As I wander around the shopping district in PSO2, closing epilogue here for my series of trying to figure out how to start the game. And maybe I'll eventually continue it with actual tips for the game when I can do more than just begin playing the game a little bit, as I kind of am now. But thank you very much, and thank you for listening to this if you have.